Hey, Dave Melinda here, Positive Polarity Podcast. Hope things are going awesome for you. As you know, every week I do my best to find the best of the best. And I tell you what, I had to go to the NFL for this one, but I am so honored to be hanging out with Shawn Harper. How are you, Shawn?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I'm well. I am so excited to jump into some leadership stuff with you. For those of the listeners that may not know that name because they may not be a Colts fan or a Rams fan or an Oilers fan, give us a background of where you've
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. So I played about 7 years professional football with the Rams and the Colts, NFL Europe as well. Had a great time. Collegiate college at Indiana University. I played both left guard and left tackle, a little bit of right guard as offensive lineman. I had a wonderful time playing professional football. That's what I would consider the glory. The story of it is that I came from unusual and challenging circumstances,
Sure.
like learning disabilities, being kicked out of schools for disciplinary issues, leaving high school with a 1.62 accumulative GPA, told out,
Oh,
never amount to nothing, voted
yeah.
most likely to fail, last in my class, obviously, just, having that 1.62, stuttering my entire life, just obstacle after obstacle after
Sure.
obstacle. And I had to make a decision one day. And the decision is that I could never be successful according to the world standard,
Sure.
but I can win. And once I made the switch, that paradigm in my life, it's like one of those like movies where you cut on like one switch and the entire warehouse cuts on. That's what happened in my life. And I
Awesome.
began to see things totally different. And I carried that not only in sports, but I merged it with business and life. And one of my mottos is that if life is a game, you play to win. Let's go.
Awesome. And you wrote a book, The Winning Edge,
Yeah,
correct?
I wrote a book called The Winning Edge. I have another book coming out talking about winning goals or winning at goals. And I just love to invest in pouring to people,
Okay.
which is probably the greatest resource because it can reap generations of dividends.
That's awesome. So your company is Shawn Harper Speaks.
Shawn
So
Speaks. Yeah.
say that again.
I believe it's listed under Shawn Speaks if you wanted to
Oh,
look that
okay.
up. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Shawn Speaks. Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah. And again, thanks so much for hanging out. I love to talk about the connection between, the personal growth and the business growth. So when you were playing football, were you already thinking about what you're going to do next or what you were going to do with your life after football? Was that in your mind or were you just taking one chapter at a time?
Well, yeah, it was, but it was more, lined up with the environment that I was in. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know what, I'm playing football, I'm making X amount of dollars, I'll go buy some real estate in this new development, Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California, just
Nice.
great real estate in Anaheim Hills, and
Sure.
I'll just be a developer for the rest of my life. And
Sure.
of course, playing in the NFL, it doesn't slow down; it just comes to a screeching halt, like boom, game over. And so,
Oh,
therefore, my goals and dreams kind of had to change. But I was able just to dig a little deeper,
okay.
and latch onto my true calling.
Sure.
You have the greatest wins in life when you align your um, your goals up with your calling.
Okay.
That right there, pushes through passion. So many
Sure.
people, they have lined their life with success, and to
Sure.
me, success is a man-made construct. It's like success is an external. The win in life, the
Yep.
calling, the dream is an internal.
Okay.
And to forego the external and line up with the internal, which is your dream, your calling, your plan, and your purpose, man, and to line up your goals according to that, you
Yep.
are dangerous because you move in total agreement. Very few people move in agreement. And what I mean by that is spirit, soul, and body. They all
Okay.
move together. And once you
Sure.
find a person who is totally focused and he or she is flowing in total agreement, they're hard to stop. It's
Sure.
kind of like playing poker and that person at the table with like 9 chips, he or she says, I'm all in.
Yep.
Everyone else has millions of dollars on the table. How could I take my 9 chips and leverage
Yeah.
myself because I'm willing. And listen, you got to get this because I'm going through something right now
Yeah.
just in reference to clients who maybe, who may owe me money. You have to be willing to lose or you can't play the game.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's really hard. I mean, that's obviously a hard lesson because I'm assuming before every game in the, locker room, it's not like, hey guys, we might lose. I mean, we're setting ourselves up to win.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
planning on winning. We're talking the winning talk. We're doing the winning actions. So how do you handle it when you look up at the scoreboard and you're not winning? I mean, is it a mindset thing? How can you help us as business owners with that?
Yeah. You know what I've seen? And it's really hard to draw a comparison to that. So let's just kind of dissect what you said.
Sure.
It's you. What I heard you say is that, you know what? I can lose, right? And so being a business owner, being a winner, that should never enter into your psyche. I could lose.
Right.
So, yeah. So now I'm going to switch that in trying to ground to what I was originally saying.
Uh-huh.
I am willing to lose.
Okay.
To win.
Gotcha.
And it's like, you know what? It doesn't mean anything to me because I'm a winner.
Sure.
If you take this, I'll be back. I will win because the game is not over. I'm willing to lay it on the line right now. That is when you're a dangerous person. If you have nothing to lose, whoo, them the ones you don't want to go to battle with.
Sure.
You because it's like there is no fear, there's no deterrent. It's I'm going all in.
Yeah.
Right. But I forgot your second part of that question.
That's okay.
Second part
no, and I was thinking about it, and you bring up another point, which I want to ask you. I hear winning and success.
There's a big difference.
What is the difference between those in your mind?
Well, we are created to win.
Okay.
We're born winners. Okay. Think about this for a second, which is why when you watch football, I love, football, everyone loves football. Why do we spend so much time watching football? Oh, can you pause this for 1 second, please? Or is this live?
No.
Okay,
nope.
Pause it. I have a very important phone call from LA.
Go ahead. Yep, take her.
Hello? Okay.
All right, Katie, help us out. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. So my question is, I think that there's a difference, and I'd like to get your opinion on the difference between winning.
Yes. Oh, so listen. This is huge. This is huge, right? Because we are, as I mentioned, we are genetically created to win. You're 1 to 2 to 3 million sperm cells that fertilize the egg. You were the winner. Now think about that for a second. You weren't just, as crazy as it sounds, you were chosen. You were the winner. Okay. Now dig this. When you're young, at least when we were growing up, we had win-lose games, right?
Yep.
And we played hide and seek, or we raced, winning, and we loved it. Around the 3rd or 4th grade, another concept introduced, and it's called success. Now, if you want to be number 1, then you have to do this. And if you want to live in a certain subdivision and have a certain career, you have to have a certain career and make a lot of money. Now there's social media, and it pulls us off the win track. Think about this. I would love to do a survey of kids' goals and dreams when they're in the 1st, 2nd grade. Think about what they talked about. I want to be a school teacher. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a pastor, 4th grade. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to own my own company. Why? Because society values.
Sure.
Society says this is what you have to do to become successful.
Right.
And so now, and then everything for the most part is funneled through what? College. Or you have to look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain skin color. I mean, let's just be real with it.
Sure.
So now that win is hijacked. Yeah. And so now everyone is pursuing success versus pursuing the win in their life. And here's where it gets crazy at. God didn't call you to be successful. God called you to win. Paul says that I ran the race. It's nothing about, hey, look how nice my robe is, 160 wool or whatever. No, it's about the win. That's what it's about. It's not about the success. Listen, and so many people will lose. So many people are losing because they're pursuing image versus pursuing identity.
Gotcha.
The win is in your identity. The power is in your identity, not in your image.
Do you get to pick do you get to define what winning looks like then for you? Is that how you think that works, Shawn?
So it's not just one thing. Winning to me is the fullest expression of who you are mentally, socially, physically, okay, financially, obviously, and most importantly, legacy. Okay. That is what the win is about. How do you achieve, your calling and your purpose in those areas? Sure. That's the win.
Sure. And how do you so for an entrepreneur listening that's enjoying this and eating this up, we're running at such fast speeds in our life that this kind of all of a sudden feels like it requires us to slow down and take some inventory, do some self-reflection. I mean, how do you go from winning is just a good month in sales to it becomes something of our legacy, it becomes spiritual, it becomes physical? I mean, that seems like a big transformation of my mind. Is that a long process to get there?
Well, there's a lot of deprogramming
okay,
that has to happen. There's a lot of reflection that has to happen.
Okay.
It's a lot of listening that has to happen, listening to your soul, looking around. There's a lot of questions you got to ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Like when I talk to older people, I'm 53. I want people 83, 78, 75. Yeah. I'm like, did you win in life?
Yeah.
And I listen to them.
Okay.
And I listen, what do they value? Do they value the 6 and 7 figures they made? Or do they value their family?
Sure.
What do they talk about? Do they talk about their son? Or do they talk about, I was executive, but I don't even hear them talk about, well, what did you do? That's not important.
Yeah.
They never talk about that. They talk about their family. They talk about their health, things like that. That's that. So I don't want to run through life being driven. Okay. Life is driving you. I want to go through life being led.
Okay.
And that comes from a higher power. It comes from God.
Sure. I
want to be led. I don't want to be driven. That drive to do this. And I've been there. I am there. I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And that drive to and in this environment, oh my God, it's tough because there's no rule book for a daggone pandemic. Where's the rule book? Can I go to Barnes and Noble and find a book on how to thrive in a pandemic?
Yeah.
There's no rule book out there for this stuff. Where's the rule book at? Yeah. Where's the manual? Where's all those thousands of consultants?
Right.
They're gone. There is no consultants about pandemic. Right. So instead of looking out, you got to look in.
Well, and I want to circle back to that because driven versus led, I think of driven as I'm in control, and led meaning somebody's leading me. So I kind of relinquish control.
That is one of the secrets to the game.
Okay.
Life. Remember when I said earlier, you can't win until you're willing to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah. The word talks about he that loses his life will gain it.
Sure. Yep.
Sometimes being able, a very wealthy man says something to me. I mean, very wealthy. Very wealthy. Did I say wealthy? Wealthy. He said, he looked at me because he's looking at a younger version of himself, and I'm on the phone because I'm driving around. He's driving me around speaking, and he's driving around where I can speak in schools. I love doing school assemblies. Sure. And I'm on the phone between programs, handling this, handling that phone. And no, blah, blah, blah. Just like it was just now. Just like it was just now.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, Shawn, if you have nothing, he said, if you own nothing, you have nothing to lose. He said, it's all God's.
Yeah.
And I was like, The more you are willing to give up, the more you give up, the more peace you have, the more you grow.
Right.
So hold it loosely. I made one of the biggest mistakes that I held on to my business too tight. And I made decisions because I was too close.
Sure.
Learning how to let go, let God, let go, and look at it from, 10,000 miles in the air or whatever. Just look down on, like, wait a second, do you have it or does it have you? Learning how to push back, learning how to scale, learning how to lose and to get up and to swing again. The average millionaire has filed for bankruptcy 3.2 times.
Wow.
Can you lose the game, get back up and swing? Listen, okay, listen, because I feel prophetic right now. I'm just gonna say this, right?
Let her rip.
I need every entrepreneur to hear what I'm about to tell you. Who missed the most shots in NBA history?
Yep. I'm guessing Mr. Jordan.
Oh, he's in the top 5.
Okay.
It was Kobe Bryant.
Uh-oh.
Kobe Bryant has missed more shots than any other NBA basketball player in history.
Wow. Sure. Wow.
You got to take the shot.
Yeah.
So in college football now, which is amazing, you notice how they don't huddle up anymore?
Yeah. Hey.
You know why? Because they get more plays.
Yeah.
And the more plays they run, there's a chance that one of those plays, they're going to win.
Sure.
Take the shot. Take the shot.
That's awesome. And so I was looking at your site in preparation, and I loved your attitude determines your altitude.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I think that's so cool because, I struggle with people that are victims. They don't want to take responsibility. They want to blame other people. I love the fact that you are helping us take responsibility for ourselves. And sometimes it's hard, right? I mean, it's got to be hard. I was going to ask you this. It's got to be really hard when you get caught holding and they call your number and they show it on the screen, the jumbotron, and the whole world just saw, Shawn Harper grabbing somebody's, it's got to be hard to be like, that wasn't me. I mean, you just basically have to take that responsibility, brush yourself off, and then the next play, I'm not doing that again. Is that kind of how that works in your brain?
So let's kind of push deeper into that for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Think about 9 seconds left in the game.
Okay.
You're down by 2 points.
Oh, geez.
You're on the team's 20-yard line and you have a field goal kicker. All he has to do is put it through the uprights. You don't have to do nothing else. You just have one job.
Yeah, exactly.
We're practicing all day and you just have one job.
And the dude's like half our size, right?
Half our size. He don't really practice hard. He just has one. He does sprints and he just kicks that ball all day. You have one job, right?
Yeah.
And you miss.
Oh, man.
You miss.
Yeah.
And everyone in the stands, they went from loving you to absolute hating you.
Yeah.
Like you're on the plane ride home and no one's talking to you.
Oh, no.
And your neighbors weren't, and your dog isn't talking to you no more. And your kid walks past you like,
oh no,
he's getting beat up for this, right? Your dad lost the spread. He gets beat up, and in the newspapers. How do you come back from that?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you come back from that?
And most people push it down, right? I don't think most people deal with that. They just, they don't deal with it.
How do you come back?
What would you suggest for people that are struggling with something like that right now, Shawn, that they are in the midst of that?
Failure is your friend. Failure gives the test, life gives the test and teaches the lesson. If you're able to work through and fight through the failure, pull out the lessons, you have just lessened your chance of falling the second time. You have to have failure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our culture, in particularly our schools, teach us that failure is a bad thing. Oh,
Yeah.
little Johnny has an F. Oh,
Yeah.
you got an F. You know, I
Yeah.
remember when I had to repeat the first grade, I was like, oh man, I promise you, had I not repeat the first grade, I probably wouldn't play professional football because I was a late developer.
Sure.
Failure is your friend. Now, that's number one. Number two, another tactic is that you have to redefine uh, negative situations, obstacles, and traumas in your life, or failures in your life. Like I'll give you a personal one. My father left when I was maybe 2.5 to 3 years old. He just left. And that was extremely traumatic for me.
Yeah.
However, I was able to say, well, wait a second, had he stayed in my life, I probably wouldn't have been a motivational speaker. There's no way, because he would have killed that seed a long time ago.
Sure.
See that? So then I had to find the good in there.
Yep.
Then I renamed the narrative.
Gotcha.
Then I let everything else happen. Had that first business didn't fail, I would never have learned the lessons that I've learned. You find the tragedy, then you rename the narrative.
Wow. And that's where I think, you know, half empty, half full comes to my mind.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I think that there's plenty of people that look at society or the government or their company, their competitor, their customer, whatever, and they see so much negative that they just start to look at the half of the glass that's empty. And it's hard, you know, as you know, it's hard to look at it as a positive half full. It takes practice, it takes training. I mean, in your book, The Winning Edge, I'm assuming there's some great stuff in there on how to kind of change that mindset. Does it start with the mind in that case?
Yes, it does. It starts with the mind. It starts with your mind and your mindset. So take the word mindset. Let's just open it up. Mindset. Mindset.
Yep.
So now let's take it backwards. You set your mind. That's not backwards, but it's close enough, right?
Sure.
You set your mind, which means that you get the win into your subconscious. So here's a little tip. Here's a little strategy that I've learned to do. I'm a winner. Well, what do winners do? Oh, they're early risers. They do this. Why am I doing this? It's because I'm a winner.
Sure.
So when I do what winners do, it reaffirms to the fact that I'm a winner to my subconscious. And once you start that loop, like pulling a string to a lawnmower, once you start that loop, then now you begin to attract. First, you begin to notice. Then you begin to attract or be attracted to winning. Then you begin to manifest winning situations because your subconscious now is kicking in and it is actually expecting it.
Wow. Yeah. Imagine expecting to win. I mean, that's what that's where I think that's what the expectation is in the clubhouse, right? Or in the locker room, is to win.
Yes. Yes.
Do the people that struggle with that, do they like not succeed very well? I mean, I got to believe if there's a negative person in your huddle or on your team, they don't stick around very long, do they?
You know, I'll tell you one. I want to once again dig even deeper into that. If you're an entrepreneur and you have an emerging team, like, well, first of all, never use the word small business. Okay, that is like stupid. You're like prophesying death over your business.
Wow.
I'm a small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm an emerging business because words are programs.
Yep.
But if you have somebody that's on your team or close to you that's negative, you have to get that person away from you as fast as you can. If you have somebody working in your office and they're always complaining and gossiping, destroy that work relationship.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how powerful this is, okay? I'm going to mention a name. One of the most powerful people in the universe. It was Jesus. There's in the Bible where Jesus was going to heal somebody. And he literally had to kick the people out the room because of their unbelief.
Yep.
So now this is the CEO. This is Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah.
If he had to do that,
imagine
what you have to do to protect your dream, your goal, and your vision.
Absolutely.
Number two, Number two, which is just as important to me, is that you need somebody on your team that's not called to your vision, but they're called to you. You need somebody on your team that is going to, you need a hype man or a hype woman. You need somebody who's like, you know what? I believe in you. I'm passionate about what you're doing. I'm called, I'm down for you. Yada, yada. That's your hype woman. That's your hype man. You need somebody around you that believes and is pushing you. You have, okay, think about this. Athletes, right? Athletes are very smart. If we're very smart, then why do we have groupies? All right. That groupie serves a purpose. That little circle of groupies, they shield all the negative news. They believe in you. They push you. Think about that for a second.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Okay. I'll tell you what, let's just go to the CEO world, C-suites, entrepreneurs, CEOs. Why do we have schmoozers? Think about that for a second. We have I know you're schmoozing me. I know you're schmoozing me.
That's funny.
But how many times have you ever said, "Get away from me, schmoozer"?
Yeah, that's funny.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we need it. We need it because our confidence and our ability to win, sometimes it can get compromised. And you got to protect that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just curious as we come in for landing today, want to definitely be sensitive to your time. I feel like the offensive line has a special relationship with the quarterback because he has to realize that if you don't do your job, he's done. So you were talking about have somebody, there for you. I just feel like that connection is there where you're there for that quarterback. You got his back. You're protecting him at all costs. I mean, did that relationship, is that how that works? Or, was there power struggles? I'm curious. No. Take us in the huddle here as we land this plane today.
Offensive linemen, this is a great case study for teamwork. Okay.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen are amazing because our win is different. So we have wins within wins.
Okay, sure.
So our win is that we have protected our quarterback and we're able to draw. This is awesome. We're able to draw our win from other people's wins. We're able to draw our win for the receiver who caught the ball.
Yeah.
We're able to draw our win from the quarterback who throws the pass, from the running back who gets 200 yards.
Yep.
And then he'll say nothing more than good job, line, and that's all we need. And we'll walk past all the fans. None of your autographs mean anything. Your interviews mean nothing to me. Okay. Yeah. Nothing. Your highlight reels, they mean nothing. Sure. We walk past everybody. And every once in a while we'll turn back and we'll see our quarterback and he'll say something like, he won't even say it loud. He'll say, "Good job." Good. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. That's all you need.
Learn. So business-wise, learn how to draw. Don't allow life to determine what's a win and what's not a win.
Yeah.
I mean, give the win to the man who raised 6 kids and put them all in college.
Sure. Yeah.
Doing well with himself. Give the win to the woman who carried a business. Like, a perfect example. There's a very famous pastor. And God told the pastor's mom, who was a well-known evangelist, to come home and raise kids, raise her boys. And she fought, she fought against it, but she resigned preaching on the road and she raised her boys. Okay. You know who that woman was? It's the mother of John Hagee. Yeah, he's one of the most famous pastors in the world.
Wow.
See, you got to get this. Sometimes the dream is for you, and other times the dream is meant to pass through you.
Wow.
It wasn't meant for Tiger Woods' father. It was meant for Tiger Woods.
Sure,
it
exactly.
wasn't meant for Venus and Serena's father.
Yeah.
It was meant for Venus and Serena.
Yeah.
And so how do you get a seed of greatness, a calling? Sometimes you got to pass it through generations and pass it through.
Sure.
So saying that to say this, that sometimes it's for you, sometimes it's meant to pass through you, but it should never be all about you. But the second reason why I'm saying that is some of us business leaders and entrepreneurs, you got to pick up the baton.
Yeah.
Because this is not a sprint. This ain't even a quarter of a mile. This is a relay.
Yeah.
And everyone listening to my voice, you're going to pass the baton one day.
Yep.
Don't have it on the ground so they're going to stop and break their momentum and try to pick it up.
Yep.
Run that race and pass the baton.
Wow, that's really good. And I think that, you know, my kid ran college and they spent more time on the relay race. They spent more time on that handoff than they did anything else.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you, from a legacy perspective, you know, make it as easy as possible for the next generation to come and pick that mantle up, because it's hard. It looks huge. It's really probably very intimidating, but that's what we need to instill in our next generation. So
Yes.
That's so cool. Awesome. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for hanging out. Man, this has been awesome. I'm blessed to be able to have you on. If somebody wants to learn more about you, they want to talk with you, they want to potentially have you speak or do some training, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah. So you can go to ShawnHarper.org or you can go to ShawnSpeaks.com, but you can go to ShawnHarper.org. You can get the information from there. Also, you can go to Instagram. I have a lot of updates on Instagram. So it's Shawn Harper Speaker.
Perfect.
Shawn Harper Speaker. Yep. You can go to Instagram. You can get it from there as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, man. I was a tackle for 8th grade and it scared
you
me.
should have told me. Why didn't you tell me?
Because, man,
because
I tell you what, it scared the crap out of me. I'm just going to tell you, it was, you know, there's actually a picture. I'm going to let you go after this. I promise. There's a picture that it was in the local paper and my number was 72. And there's me running one way and everyone else running the other way. Man. And I realized early on, man, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I have such respect for the line. Yeah. That's awesome. So thank you again so much. And again, if you're listening and, you know, something struck a chord with you today, you know, just do yourself a favor and reach out to Shawn. There's a ton of energy there. There's a ton of opportunity there. And again, grab a copy of his book. Honored to again hang out with you and appreciate all your insight. And man, I wish that you were still playing, because it'd be awesome to watch you just open up a big hole and with that little linebacker running through and know that it was all you. So thank you so much.
All right, you be blessed.
Yep, you take care.
All right.